Well, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Kids Power Hour. This is Connie McClain from Janesville Apostolic Ministries. So glad you tuned in today. Our lesson today is the story of Joseph, found in Genesis chapter 37. Jacob had 12 sons, but he loved Joseph best. And the reason why he loved Joseph best was because it was from his most loved wife, Rachel. Do you remember that story that we had, how he loved Joseph? And you know what? Joseph was Jacob's favorite son. And all his brothers that were by Leah were very, very jealous of him. They did not like that, nor did they think that was very fair either. So you know what? Jacob gave Joseph a special gift. It was a coat of many colors. And oh my gosh, those brothers were just angry that he got a coat and all the other brothers did not get a coat. I think that would kind of make a lot of people unhappy, don't you think? But one night, Joseph had a dream. He told his brothers, all 12 of us were in the field, and we were tying up sheaves of wheat, and suddenly, all your sheaves of wheat bowed down to mine. And I didn't understand why. His brothers got so angry at him. They couldn't believe he was telling them such a crazy dream. They said, "Do you think we're going to bow down to you?" "I don't think so." Then Joseph had another dream in which the sun and the moon and all the stars bowed down to him again. He told everyone in his family about it. Even his father questioned it. "Do you really think that your mother, your brothers, and I are really going to bow down to you, Joseph? Do you really believe that?" he asked. Sometime later, his brothers had gone to Shechem to find pasture for their sheep. Jacob began to get worried about his brothers. Mind you, he still loved all his sons. But there was that special place for that true love. Do you remember I told you? "Joseph, your brothers have been gone so long. Would you please go and check on your brothers and make sure they're okay?" So Joseph set out. He reached Shechem safely, but there were no signs of his brothers or the animals that they were trying to get pasture for. As Joseph stood wondering what to do, a man spoke to him. Okay? "Are you looking for someone?" "Yes," Joseph said. "My brothers. I heard them say they were going to Dothan." The man replied. By this time, Joseph was very tired of traveling on foot. And he was getting hungry too, so he tried to hurry along. When he was still in the distance, his brothers caught sight of his beautiful coat. And they all seen him coming. And they said to each other, "Look, here comes the big dreamer. Let's kill him while we got a chance. Because I really can't stand him in his dreams." But Reuben, the oldest, said, "Let's not kill him. We can put him in a pit All right, the others agreed. Secretly, Reuben planned to rescue Joseph. Later, when the others had left, what a shock for Joseph when he had arrived and saw his brothers' angry faces. All his brothers' faces were angry at him. Can you imagine how Joseph felt? Having all your brothers angry at you? Just for a dream? They sieged him. They tore off his beautiful coat. And there was no way Joseph could climb out of that pit that they put him in. Please, let me out. You guys, don't do this. I love you guys. Please, don't. The brothers only laughed and sat down to enjoy their meal. How very cruel jealousy is, isn't it? It's so evil. While they were waiting and eating, a camel caravan had come. Of traders came riding by on their way through Egypt. Oh, the brothers thought, let's sell him, one of them suggested. Then we won't feel guilty about leaving him to die. Reuben was not there to hear this suggestion. The other brothers thought it was a good plan. They would get rid of Joseph forever and would never have to hear that dreamer again. When a rope was dangled into the darkness of the pit, Joseph thought he was being rescued. But no. They had sold him to that caravan. But he was sadly mistaken. He thought his brothers loved him. But they were more jealous than love itself. What will you pay for this strong young man? Said his brothers to the traders. The traders looked at Joseph. He was healthy and strong. We'll give you 20 pieces of silver for him. The deal was made, and Joseph was led away. Joseph just could not keep from crying. Will I ever see my father? Will I ever see my mother? I'll never see my little brother Benjamin. He wondered. But God was still with Joseph, I want you to know. God was with my father. He was with my great-grandfather, and he promises to be with me too. And I know he will never leave me or forsake me. When Reuben came back, the well was empty. There he had found Joseph gone. He was horrified. The boys, and here he explained, what am I going to do? The brothers explained to Reuben what they had done. Now they must decide what to tell their father. They killed a goat, and they took his beautiful coat, and they dipped it in blood. They killed a goat and took the coat, and then it was time to go home. When they reached home, they showed the coat to Jacob, saying, "We found this." "Does it belong to Joseph?" Jacob cried out. "My son has been torn into pieces by wild animals. All my life I shall mourn him." Jacob wept, and no one could comfort him. Even though Joseph's brothers knew he was still alive, and they saw how sad their father was, they still didn't tell their father the truth. They wanted to be rid of him. I want you to know that deception is never the right choice. One lie leads to another lie, and it leads to another. We have to ask God to keep us from being deceitful. And we need to keep it out of our lives. We just need to ask God to help us. God always wants us to show kindness and to love our brethren. And when we do what God promises to be with us, and when we do what God wants, this in Genesis 39:21 it says this: the Lord was with Joseph. You know, Joseph never really did anything wrong. And God saw that, and God knew that. And when you are doing what's right, God knows it. And God cares about it. So with that, that concludes our story. Our next time we have our lesson, it's going to be on Joseph becomes a slave and what happens when he becomes another man's slave. Have a good week.